Hi, this is Kara from the Pure Rock Shop, and I've got Cassandra here on the line with us from Paralandra. How are you?
Doing great. Great to be chatting with you again.
I know I'm so excited to talk to you. We both had an exciting Monsters of Rock cruise, and I
Yeah.
figured it was a really good time to chat with your band's new album coming out in a few weeks.
Yes, it's all perfect timing, like with Rock Island and then Monsters of Rock Cruise and then the album coming out right after. Like it's been bang, bang, bang this year.
So tell us a little bit about your band for anybody who's not familiar with you.
Paralandra is a four-piece hard rock band, very inspired by, the classic rock bands like Van Halen and, Extreme and, all that good stuff. But a lot of modern influences as well, like Alter Bridge and Foo Fighters. But my dad and I are the co-writers. He's our guitar player, and yeah, that I guess that's pretty much it. We've been around for a decade now. We started in 2013, which is crazy. But
It's it's
yeah.
hard to believe I'd never seen you guys before this year at Rock Island because I've, met you a few years ago and it just the shows don't come out this way to Pittsburgh. So I was really excited to see you at Rock Island. How did you and your dad end up forming a band together?
It was like very natural. We kind of fell into it. It was never really our plan to take over the world, but that's just like, what we're doing, I guess.
Yeah.
But my dad and I were writing songs like when I was about 18 years old. I had like kind of shown him some of the songs that I was writing, like from 13 up, pretty much. But yeah, we started collaborating when I was about 18, and one thing led to another, and we were like, why don't we just like play some of these songs live, just
Yeah.
for the heck of it. Let's just do it for fun. So we did it one time, and then we were like, that was awesome. We should totally do it again. And so, that led into the next show, and it just kept snowballing, and it's still snowballing, and we're still, climbing, like still
Yeah.
climaxing, I feel like, so we haven't stopped yet, and I'm glad.
I think the word's definitely getting out. A lot of people are talking about your voice. Have you had formal training? How did you start singing?
Um, so like I came from a family of singers and musicians, so like that's just pretty much always been part of my life. But I wouldn't even sing in front of anyone till I was like 18, 19 years old. Like I knew that I could sing, I knew that I could
Mm.
carry a tune, but like I always just wanted to be a guitar player.
Okay.
So, one of my friends like guilted me into joining choir my junior and senior year of high school. So I did group singing then, but still was not like gonna sing solo in front of anybody. And yeah, anyway, one thing led into another, and like I joined a cover band, and they needed background vocals, and so I was like, fine, I'll do that. Like I can do it, so I'll do this for the greater good.
Yeah.
And then they heard my background vocals, and they're like, now you need to sing a whole song. Like you need to be a lead vocalist for at least one. And so I was
Yeah.
like, fine. So I did it, and I actually really liked it. And so I don't know, then I kind of got like an itch for it, and now I really enjoy kind of being the front woman
Yeah.
and, singing, and I don't know, it feels kind of like a superpower that I've been holding on to like for most of my life, you know.
Well, you definitely blew us all away down at Rock Island Fest. You guys kicked off the whole event on the pier, which was really cool, and thankful that the weather held off and the show got in before the rain started again. What was that like
Yes.
for you guys?
Oh man, like we were gonna be happy if we got to play even two songs because of the weather. Like we were fully expecting to just not even get to play.
Mm.
But like we got to do a full, I think 45 minutes, only had to cut two songs, and it was awesome. Huge crowd, everybody was having a blast. Um, I had some technical difficulties. One of my cables was bad, come to find out. So that was fun to find out in the middle of the show. So Dakota got to do an impromptu drum solo as he usually
Yeah.
does. So,
Well, I think everyone was having challenges that night. I know Kip Winger started off the evening explaining to the sound guy that it was his band and that we needed to hear him. So, you know,
yes. There
it
were a few
was the
issues, few kinks.
circumstances of the whole situation with the weather there, which is strange for Florida. It usually just passes over, but it wanted to hang around that night.
Yeah, it was honestly kind of an overcast week, I feel like. Like I was expecting a lot more like Florida, direct sunlight type weather, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Kind of
enjoy
chilly that week.
overcast. So.
Yeah. But so you guys kind of were like the house band down there. We got to hear you pretty much every day. I think you might have had one day off the whole week.
Yeah, we just had Friday off. That was it.
So how did that come to be? How did you get involved with Rock Island Fest?
So we work with Arm Entertainment, and they represent a lot of the artists that you see like at Rock Island Fest, like
Yeah.
Winger and Firehouse, and just all of these awesome
Right.
legend type bands. So whenever Rock Island was brought up, they were like, "Is this something that you guys would be interested in doing?" And I said, "Absolutely, yes, we
Yeah.
would be interested in that." And so
Cool.
at that point, she was like, "Well, we've got a bunch of spots to fill. So basically just tell us how much you want to play and we'll throw you in there." So it's like, "Okay, well, how about the whole week every single day?" And so I gave myself one day off to recoup on singing because
Yeah.
we were on tour before and after. So I had to, take care of the voice as well, but also wanted to, just get my time's worth.
Yeah, it was very cool. The GMs are always fun, and one of them got rained out last year, so it was great that we were able to see two GMs on the pier, and you got to play with some fun people that were also performing at the fest. I saw with Wigwam's frontman and Chips
Yes.
from Enough's Enough both joined you on stage, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah, and then like Steve Brown and PJ from Trickster joined us, which was crazy because I saw Steve Brown with Tokyo Motor Fist
Mhm.
on the Monsters of Rock cruise, I think 2020, like right before the
Yeah,
the pandemic or something.
yeah,
And their song Put Me to Shame, like I heard it live and had never even heard of this band before. And like that song shook me. And it was in my head the whole rest of the cruise. And afterwards, I had to look it up on Spotify and was like, "Oh my gosh, everyone needs to hear this song."
yeah.
So, anyways, it was crazy. Like after, 4 years of like geeking out over this song, I get to jam with the guy who wrote it. Like that was
Yeah,
cool.
very cool. And he just worked on Ace Frehley's new album, which is like even cooler, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
insane how connected it all is.
for sure. So I actually just bought my daughter one of his guitars for her birthday. So that shows you like, she's a fan as well. And he's
Love it.
yeah. So definitely hitting a new generation. And I think I was 14 at my first Trickster show. So it's pretty cool
Yes.
to
That
hang
is
out with these
awesome.
guys. Yeah. So I know that you guys have done some other cool things like the Kiss cruise and I want to say Rocklahoma, which I hadn't seen either of those, but you made a guest appearance on Monsters of Rock that everybody's been talking about. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about how that came to be. You shared the stage with Jeff Scott Soto twice, and I'm not sure, are you still there?
Yeah.
We paused.
Yes, I'm still
Yay,
here.
okay, you're
Sorry.
back. Okay. So
Sorry. My
the
reception's
video
terrible at home.
the video paused, and I never know if it's me because I'm down at the bowels of the basement here in my music room. So yeah, tell us how you ended up on stage with Jeff Scott Soto singing a song from Rockstar.
Yeah. So originally we got hooked up with Jeff Scott Soto because he was potentially going to manage us.
Okay.
And that was like about a year and a half ago. And it didn't end up working out. I mean, he is like probably the busiest guy in the industry. Like it probably didn't make sense, you know? We needed somebody that was going to be like full-time Paralandra. But ever since, I mean, he has been such a huge supporter of Paralandra and of me and, my side projects and stuff. So whenever I saw that he was going to be on the cruise and knew that I was going to be there, I was like, "Dude, like I gotta say hi. I need to meet you in person because we never had." And he was like, "Oh my gosh, let's do one better than that. How about you join me for Stand Up and Shout?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah." So, so I learned it really quick, and yeah, I got to get up there and sing it with him, and it was crazy. I mean, he literally is the original rock star. Like,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, it's undisputed.
It's funny, somebody commented on one of the photos that she heard him playing a lot at the buffet. And I said, well, he's been on so many albums. If they have all of his albums in rotation, you're going to hear a lot of Jeff Scott Soto, right?
Literally, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the odds are you're gonna get him probably 50% of the time.
Yeah. So I thought that was hilarious. But it was really cool to see. I got to see both performances, which was great. And it was great to see the crowd's response and how much fun the two of you were having trading off vocals. So very
Yes, it was really cool. Oh my gosh. Like it's weird to even think about. It's kind of like a fever dream, you
yeah.
know.
Well, I'm glad
So
to
much.
hear he told you in advance what you were going to do, because I talked to Kenny after he got up and sang with him, and he said all he told me was we were singing and I didn't even know what song.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
but
Wow.
he has sung that song with him and a group of other Swedes before, so I don't think it was that big of a surprise, but I thought that was kind of funny. He didn't know what was
That is
coming at him.
hilarious. You know, I kind of felt that way, like, because I got up and sang with Heaven's Edge as well,
Yeah.
um, for Cold Blood. And like a few weeks before the cruise, they had mentioned maybe having me guest on a song, and I was like,
Mhm.
absolutely, just tell me which one. Like, I know
Right.
all the Heaven's Edge songs, like by heart. I'll be able to
Yeah.
sing it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, we're thinking maybe like this KIX song. And I'm like, the song I've never heard? Oh, okay. And then it was like, "Oh, well, maybe we spoke too soon. Don't know if we're gonna have you sing it. Maybe we'll have you, like, jump in on the chorus." So, it was kinda up in the air if I
Yeah.
was gonna do it or not, and then at sound check before the show, Mark is like, "Cassandra, you're gonna sing with us, right, on Cold Blood?" And I was like, I thought we said we were not doing that. Okay. Never learned it." So, anyway, I just like learned the chorus really quick before
Yeah.
going on stage and sold it.
Well, there you go. Well, be glad you didn't have to do it on the pool stage when it was like 100 degrees in Mexico, because that was,
Yeah,
yeah, that was challenging. I was up on stage with them taking photos and it
I
was
felt so
unbearable.
bad for them. It was a hot day.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Sadly, I missed the second show. I can't remember where I was, but I'm sure I was working elsewhere.
I think you were at Extreme. They were
Yep,
playing.
probably.
Uh,
They were at the same time.
yeah, they were in the
Yep.
theater while Heaven's Edge was in Studio B. Yeah.
Yep. I remember that now because I was going to try to do both, but I was very seasick because for anybody that knows the boat, the theater is at the front of the boat. And when we're moving, that's where you feel it the most. So I never made it over to see them.
It is so crazy in the theater because that LED screen behind
Yes.
the drummer is just like going back and forth, and like the speakers are just swinging. It's like,
Yeah. And then Gary
okay.
decided to grab the what you would think look like ropes under the speakers that are all the electrical cords and swing from them like a monkey during that show. So
Hmm,
only added to the fun. Yeah.
that's fun. Wow.
So it was an eventful extreme show as usual. But yeah,
Oh, yes.
I'm sad that I missed your performance with Heaven's Edge.
It
But
was so much fun, honestly. Like, it was an honor to be on stage with those guys. I have so much respect for them. Like, they're amazing people and incredible songwriters.
yeah.
Like, yeah, just love them.
And you're gonna have to get schooled in KIX songs, even though the band has retired. There's a lot of catalog you got to go back and listen to if you don't know Cold
Exactly.
Blood.
I know, I felt so bad. I was like, okay, 1 second. Let me just listen to
So
this real quick."
it tells your age, and it's also like, over here in Pittsburgh in the East, they're from Maryland, so they're kind of more like a local band for us. Like they would play the
Right.
show every year at Christmas, even though they weren't touring. And I'm like, hey, why don't you guys come play here too? And then it became the annual warm-up show before their Christmas show. They would play Pittsburgh. So we've been getting KIX shows every year for a really long time. And
Spoiled.
not everybody is spoiled like us. People will fly from Europe to go on the cruise just to see KIX. So I've probably seen them more than most people. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that is amazing. You're very spoiled.
Yes, for sure. So we never took that for granted. We always made sure we caught them, and I was very lucky to be at the last show and get to photograph that. So I'm happy for that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was very cool that Brian got up and jammed with those guys. So
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about this new album because I know it's coming out in a few weeks. And I'm guessing you've got some big things planned once it's released. So tell us a little bit about the new album.
Yeah. So the new album is, of course, every artist is gonna say that their latest work is their best work, but seriously, like this album is no exception. Elvis Basket is the man. It sounds just as big, if not bigger, than Street Magic.
Cool.
And just I listened to all the songs while I was working out yesterday, and I was like, this is a great album. I'm so proud of myself. So musically I couldn't be more proud, but as far as like just the concept and everything, like The Body Electric is actually a poem by Walt Whitman, that I never realized. That I always thought it was just a Twilight Zone episode,
Oh,
but it's just about like the miracle of humanity and how like we're all the same underneath our skin. And with Paralandra, like we try to be very uplifting with our music, and very positive and
yeah.
inclusive to everybody. And so I don't know, I just felt like it was the perfect way to describe the album, because
Yeah.
also it's like just a bunch of life experiences, and it's kind of a collection of songs over 10 years. So I mean, I don't know, it just all seemed to come together nicely under the Body Electric umbrella. Lots
Cool.
of deep meanings.
Awesome. And once the album's out, I know you guys have some tour dates planned already, but anything big coming up? Any new festivals
Yes.
you can
So
speak
we
to
get to
now?
play, yeah, we get to play Bratfest in Wisconsin for the first
Okay.
time this year, which is like a huge deal. I had no idea, but I'm really excited to see what it's all about.
Yeah.
And then we've got a couple dates with Lita Ford coming up this summer. We'll be with her and Warrant in Vegas, and then we'll be playing with her and Vixen in Oregon. We'll be with Seven Dust in August. I mean, we've got like a lot of really big shows coming up, and lots
Great.
of tour dates, like headlining dates, connecting those things that we're booking along the way. So we're looking forward to this year probably being our biggest year yet and hitting the most cities that we have.
Well, we'll definitely try to help you spread the word about the band. And,
Thank you.
maybe next year we can see you guys on the cruise instead of just guesting. That would be really
I
cool, right?
I will take it either way. I fully enjoyed plus oneing it up this past
Yeah.
time. I partied maybe a little bit too hard actually, but yeah, it would be awesome to get Paralandra on the boat. I know a lot of people have been requesting us. I know it would be a great time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, once the fans get involved and start requesting you, things typically happens because they call themselves the loud minority, and when they speak up, things happen. So we'll see
Nice.
what time will tell, I guess. But
Yeah.
super excited to hear the new album and hopefully get to see you guys again on the road. Got to come out east so we can catch a show out my way.
Absolutely. We're looking at an East Coast run this fall.
Awesome.
So keep your eyes peeled.
Okay. Well, thanks so much again for joining me, and excited to see what's next for you guys.
Thank you so much. I appreciate